You shop like you would in a grocery store. So we ask you to think about the week, think about what your household enjoys eating and the foods that you know how or like to prepare, and you grab what you need from the space. And then you come back when you need us again.
Burgers, tacos, pizza. Oh my! Season 7 of the Nourishes podcast is here. Once again, brought to you by Visit Bloomington. Check them out at visitbloomington.com. Especially if you live in Bloomington, you'll find out about all this cool stuff going on around town that you had no idea about. Also, please support our other advertisers on this episode. The best way to show us some love is to show them some love. You already know what I'm going to say. Play that theme song.
Hey, say, honey, let's go out to eat. Relieve our culinary duties. With all these restaurants to sweep us off our feet, they're bound to turn us into foodies. No dishes, no dishes, no dishes. We'll have a bottle of wine for lights and have a good time. No dishes. No dishes.
Coming up in just a few weeks, it's Freezefest. It's back. I've been lucky enough to be on the committee for it since it started in 2019. One of the coolest things about it is the chili cook-off, CHILLY. Chili. But it's chili, like CHI. You get it. Anyway, as of last year, Mother Hubbard's Cupboard, nailed it, took over doing the chili cook-off. And here to talk about Mother Hubbard's Cupboard, about the chili cook-off, is Megan Betz.
Hey, thank you so much for having me.
Yeah.
And I will say, we tend to call it the hub because Mother Hubbard's Cupboard is a lot to say.
But I like it, though. It's like Mother Hubbard's Cupboard.
Yeah.
You
gotta lean it. Once you start, you gotta just commit.
But once you nail it, you feel good about it. You know what I mean? You're just like, ooh, I just ripped that and I didn't stutter. But I did stutter. Anyway, so the hub.
The hub, yeah. We're really excited. And I think it, kind of evokes what we're hoping to be, which is, yes, an emergency food provider. We are a pantry, but we really lean into a lot of the educational programming and on-site programming we have, with the goal of teaching people things, but really just being a safe space to be and a gathering point for people. So the hub feels like what we want to be. Anyway, we want people to feel like they can drop in.
I love that. Yeah, so it works both ways. It's easier to say, and it's what we want to be. It's what we're aspiring for. Well, for this episode, I dug out my Freezefest beanie, which I have a massive head. So you can't tell, but it says Freezefest. But I'm going to get really hot if I wear that the whole time. But just wanted to do it for the intro.
Yeah.
So you already dug in a little bit on what Mother Hubbard's Cupboard is. Can you give us the more broad view?
Yeah, so Mother Hubbard's Cupboard is a community food resource center. We've been serving Bloomington and really the broader area since, since when? 26 years ago. So 1999, 1998, 1999. Okay. We've been operating for 26 years. Started by a couple of parents who were experiencing food insecurity themselves and wanted to have an experience of going to ask for support that really felt like they were having dignity, like they were still experiencing choice, like you would when you were going to a grocery store or trying to use any other avenue to feed your household. And so they started with a really low barrier space, a client choice space, and really led with dignity and autonomy. And we've held on to that as we've grown, and we've tried to grow in response to kind of community interests, community questions, community demand, which has led to a lot of educational programming. So we're learning how to use the kitchen together, how to use the ingredients we find in the pantry together. We're trying to learn a lot from our community members. So if they have special skills, whether they're good at tamales or sourdough or North Indian cuisine, Costa Rican cuisine, casseroles, crock pots, then they get to come in and lead workshops and share those skills and give them back to the community. And then we also added in garden education programming as well. So we learn together in the garden, we harvest together in the garden. And we just try to build a space where we recognize that we all have skills to share. We have skills we're hoping to learn, and we can share those ideas and learn together and build a robust, nurturing, well-connected community.
That's fantastic. Yeah,
it's a good time.
Wow, how many times have you given that spiel?
It changes every time.
I was going to say, that was great.
Every time. But it's also, I think, it feels really natural to be at the Hub because it's the kind of work that I always hoped to be doing. And I love to cook a meal for my friends. I love learning new recipes from people. So I think it's just me describing how I think things should go and what I want community to look like. So it makes it easy.
Yeah. Now your role is president CEO of Mother Hubbard.
Yeah.
How long have you been in that position?
I am at my 3-year anniversary. So I started December 2021.
Yeah.
Thank you. So I feel finally really settled in.
That's great. Did that take the full 3 years?
It took 3 years. Yeah. I noticed a couple months ago that I was like, oh, I feel like I'm like making decisions with my whole chest. I'm not kind of being like, how would the people who are here before me decide this? Or am I going to get in trouble for deciding this way? But we have a great team and it's a really collaborative space. So I definitely feel like I'm not working through things alone. We're deciding together and that feels really important to me too. So so we figured it out together and they make me look competent and and we're doing great.
I know the feeling. That's how I feel about Garrett with this podcast. He makes me look like I know what I'm doing. So did you work yourself into that role or did you come onto Mother Hubbard's Cupboard in that position?
I was new to the organization when I came into the role, but I had been in the Bloomington kind of food scene for about a decade. So I got here in 2011 and was here for grad school. Like a lot of folks, I came and we just kept finding reasons to stay. So I was at O'Neill doing a master's and it's a great fit for a lot of people. It wasn't a great fit for me. And I was really desperate to find some community and landed at the Bloomington Community Orchard as it was really just getting going. And so I got to help put some of those trees in the ground and learned a lot about kind of managing communications, thinking about public space and what is possible with public space and what is possible with all volunteer organizations. And was like, local food is really where I want to be for the long term. And at the same time was working over at Community Kitchen, doing some grant writing support. And so got to learn a lot about what kind of the nonprofit ecosystem was like as well. And then spent a really, really long time in grad school in the geography department, working on my doctorate, while also working at IU, doing community outreach, but also kind of pedagogy support. And then started, COVID happened. A lot of disruptions happened in our local food system. It's kind of a scary time at the farmers market. So I helped to get People's Market going, was kind of in the background, doing some background support with that work. And so just have really enjoyed seeing all the ways that Bloomington thinks about local food and thinks about the relationships that are really at the center of local food, and trying to build as many of those relationships that feel really good and empowering and safe and rich as possible.
Yeah, for sure. So before you came to Bloomington for grad school, where were you from originally?
I grew up in West Central Ohio, and my family, like a lot of families in rural Ohio, had been a farming family for a really long time and then moved away from farming in the 80s when a lot of families were forced to move off of their farms because of changes in agricultural policy. And so I was very aware of farming in terms of like the cultural shift that happened for my family when we weren't farmers anymore and kind of navigating moving into manufacturing roles and just like an identity shift, And so I was always just really curious to what that was like and curious about if people left that experience and chose to keep growing food for their household or just needed to make space and move on from it fully. And so I was always just curious about it and kind of played with it through my education in indirect ways. Like I was just a journalism student and did like PR work in undergrad.
What did you do undergrad at?
I was at Ball State. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So I've been, I've been, I think at this point, a Hoosier longer than I was a Buckeye. I don't know how I feel about it. I don't know.
It seems like you just realized that right now.
Yeah. I don't think, but I also, my mom will text me updates about like how the Buckeyes are doing. And I realize I've really fallen out of touch. So I need to just accept
Welcome to the
that I'm a Hoosier now.
Embrace it.
So yeah.
Yeah. Did you have any experience in restaurants or anything like that? Like growing, like when you were in high school or anything like that?
I was a barista for years.
Nice.
And so my role was very much in sort of cafes that had either flat top grills or like little kitchens, and went from, I was fortunate to be at cafes before we were expected to do latte art. So that was never a part of my experience. It looked how it looked when it landed in the cup.
Here you go.
But I would very gladly make you like a messy egg and cheese sandwich for your bagel. So that was kind of my first real food experience. And the cafe I worked at in undergrad was open until 3 a.m. because we were under a bar. And so I also have a lot of memories of, we're throwing the food away at the end of the day, and I'm just sort of standing over a trash can eating old muffins before like it's 3 a.m. I'm very sleepy. I'm also starving.
Yeah, you're like, I need something.
And I'm just going to jam as many of these muffins into my face before I walk home.
Well, and then you feel better about tossing out less.
Yeah, it was the first kind of steps in my waste mitigation sustainability journey.
Yeah, for sure. So you've got the industry cred.
Yeah.
I'm glad. I wanted to establish that for anyone listening. Yeah, not just the nonprofit, but you're like, I've done, open till 3 a.m.
Yeah, I have scrubbed my share of flat top grills. Yeah. I have burnt my hands in 2 strong sanitizer water.
Oh, okay.
I've seen some things.
And stronger for it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So Mother Hubbard's Cupboard, as far as, is it a individual brick and mortar? Like, where's your home base at?
We are, yeah. So we're over at 1100 West Allen, which is right off of where Patterson and Allen intersect. And we've been in that location for 12, coming up on 13 years. And that is the site of all of our gardening and growing, all of our education, unless it's a partnership with the library. So now we do some programming at the Southwest branch of the library in their teaching kitchen. And it's where our pantry is located as well. So
that's right next to B-Tech and across from where Best Beers used to be?
Yeah.
I'm picturing it now.
Wow. That was incredible. Like B-Tech as a landmark was incredible.
Yeah, you don't hear that one too often. No. Yeah, that's so funny. Well, we use B-Tech at the Moose.
Okay.
So when I drive by, I'm like, maybe Jason's in there. Or you know what I mean? Yeah, I get
yeah, no one now the anchor is the wall that Catalent has for their facility. I don't know exactly what it is.
Well, yeah, they bought the old Best Beer. Best Beers moved. They bought that warehouse, and Catalent expanded. And what are your thoughts on all those speed bumps on Allen? Let's talk about the real stuff.
Okay, I have to be careful because I do think that we're a big reason that the speed bumps are there.
It's okay. It's for safety.
I mean, there's so much demand for what we're doing. And so people are using the bus a lot. People are using overflow in the lot next door. And so on Tuesdays, especially the first day that we're open for the week, there's so much traffic that it can really cause congestion. And we're not the only reason speed bumps are there because they extend into the neighborhood too, but it definitely made it it helps control the traffic situation for us on Tuesdays.
Great. That's good. Well, so I feel like an asshole. I feel like an asshole now.
I get it. I also do have friends that are like, "Oh, my kids love those because if you go over fast, you go flying." I'm like, "Oh my god." Please don't.
When we first moved to Indiana, my dad was a preacher at a church in Anderson, and there was this road on the way there, like not on 69, but like we called it the roller coaster road because it had some of those dips, and it gave you that like feeling in your gut. Woo! But maybe not what the speed bumps.
That was what railroad tracks were for where I grew up.
Oh, okay,
so
that is some rural Ohio. Cool. Well, that's great that there's such a demand for what you're doing.
Yeah.
There's so many pedestrians and just traffic in general. So I guess I am glad they're there. That is good. I need the full picture.
It can be both and, right?
Yeah, you provide a perspective for me, and I appreciate that, and I'm willing to learn and grow.
That's what we're all about.
Yeah, 100%. So let's say, people that, do need your services. What do they just come by, or you specifically mentioned Tuesdays? How do they reach out or take advantage of everything you guys have to offer?
Yeah, so I think the pantry is our biggest and longest running program, and it tends to serve as kind of the front door for what we do. So a lot of folks end up in some of our other programs or end up using our tool share, which is a lending library that we have, because they first use our pantry. And the pantry is open 12 to 6, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. It has remained as low barrier as we can make it. So you arrive, you sign in with your name, address, and number of people in your household. It can be a squiggle if you need it to be a squiggle. And then you shop like you would in a grocery store. So we ask you to think about the week, think about what your household enjoys eating and the foods that you know how or like to prepare. And you grab what you need from the space. And then you come back when you need us again. That is really all there is to using the pantry. And then, we stock what we can. I think people are really surprised to learn that our actual food buying budget is quite small. And so a lot of our food comes from Hoosier Hills Food Bank. It's very affordable or free. And we have other sources for kind of rounding things out, but we're also very aware that we might not always have what you're looking for. And so some folks are coming to us. They're also going to Pantry 279. They're also going to their church's pantry. But if you feel you might need us and you are limited on gas or you don't know if you want to use a bus ticket, you can always call. And if you press 1 when you get our voicemail, it should give you a rundown of what we have stocked for the day. And you can kind of decide if you want to come through or not. But
so
also
cool.
please
That's
be
so
nice
helpful.
to us if it's like 1 PM and we haven't had a chance to update it yet. We're doing our best. It will get updated. Sometimes we just get busy.
Yeah, well, that's what was going to be my follow-up. It's like, man, staying on top of having that updated with what your inventory is, I'm sure is no small task.
Yeah, we do it each morning, and we try to only list the things that we're really confident will last through the day. So we have like a low quantity of something. It's not going to end up in the recording. So I think sometimes there are, you get there and there are some surprises, which is great, but better to kind of under commit than overpromise, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely. Do you get to do the recordings, or do you guys take turns? Or
sometimes I do.
I feel
sometimes
like
I do the recordings.
Do you try to jazz
you
it
would
up?
think I try to get in and get out. I'm like, people aren't really
right.
They don't want to hear from me.
Yeah, they're not
they
here
just
for
want
the
to know
Megan
if we have
show.
eggs.
They don't need your stand up.
Yeah, I am trying to be like, giving them as much information as I can. But I'm also, as I do it, very aware that I was like, there's so little space to process anything I'm saying other than like the grocery list.
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of us now, it's been a journey of training us all how to use the voicemail. But now pretty much any of us can record it. And I'm very thankful it's not just me anymore. There's also always the moment where I record it and then halfway through I start saying some of the wrong things. I'm like, shit. And then I have to be really careful or I will hit the save recording instead of erase button. And so then I have to really rapidly make a new one because I'm like, okay, that has to be live for the shortest amount of time possible. We got to get a new one in there. So there are some bloopers sometimes, but hopefully people don't catch
someone
them.
Called in and just
I know.
You'd be like,
they just hear me losing it and very clearly unable to read.
Well, I
didn't
have that
bit.
on my list. Well, you mentioned Hoosier Hills Food Bank. We had Jake Bruno on from there.
Oh, great.
We love Hoosier Hills and everything they do.
Yeah.
And the amount, it's like 80 million pounds.
Yeah.
The amount of food that they've gone through since they started, and just on a yearly, I think it was 6 or 7 million a year, is insane.
Yeah.
So it's nice to see we've kind of built this picture through, some of the episodes we've done with nonprofits, we're like, okay, you got Hoosier Hills and okay, they're supplying places like Mother Hubbard's Cupboard. And you guys also, correct me if I'm wrong, but partner with United Way.
Yeah, we're a United Way agency, yes.
Okay, because that's how you became in charge of the chili cook-off.
It is,
because it wasn't initially United Way. They're like, hey, we don't have the bandwidth, but here's our friends at Mother Hubbard's Cupboard, and they would love to do it.
Yeah, I think it's a dream fundraiser for us. It's everything we want to be doing on site anyway, in terms of, trying out as many new recipes as possible, seeing if we can get things almost too spicy together. How far can you push it?
Yeah. And
then just eating really good food, and the conversation that comes up when you're eating good food together is always really fun. So we get to do it for the second time. It's going to be, hopefully better than ever, or better than what we have done. Liz, our outreach coordinator, is going to be making the super spicy chili for the Some Like It Hot challenge this year. So that's going to be back. So 6 folks can sign up to eat.
6 demented folks.
Yeah. As much of the spiciest spicy chili that we can make in the shortest amount of time possible, and see if they can come out and be the spiciest little pepper. And then we'll also have 20 chili chefs, and some of them, we have a couple of registrants already. Some of them are home chefs who are really passionate about their chili that they bring to all of the family get-togethers. Some of them are local businesses, so it'll be a really nice range of styles of chili and cooking styles too, which I really appreciate. I think, again, reinforcing that a lot of us have different ways of coming to this, and we all do it well regardless of how we got there. So I think if you want to come eat, at least if you sample everybody, you're eating at least 40 ounces of chili for the low price of $20. And those $20 go directly to supporting us, which is 100 pounds of food for us if we break it down by
for $20. Mm-hmm. Wow, that's incredible.
Yeah. So it really does immediately have an impact for us. So we're excited, and we hope everybody wants to eat a lot of chili and then also cool down their palate with some chocolate mousse ice cream. I learned, I think 2 years ago, about the Hoosier phenomenon of cinnamon rolls and chili.
Yeah.
So we will again have 2-stick cinnamon rolls on site as well, which I will be honest, I haven't, ventured into yet, but I do love a 2-stick cinnamon roll. So this will be my year.
Yeah. Well, see, I haven't, so I've been fortunate enough to judge. I judged a lot. It might've been 2 years in a row now. But I've never done chili and cinnamon roll together. And
I'm intrigued by I saw a TikTok the other day, and someone was like, you know what time it is? And they put a cinnamon roll on a plate, and they just dumped chili over it.
Is that how it's supposed to be?
I don't think so. But then one of my coworkers grew up in Martinsville and said this is it's a Martinsville cultural staple.
Okay, see this. So Garrett pulled up.
And they do kind of a one or the other, have a bite of one, have a bite of the other,
side
and they
side.
complement.
That makes sense. How much are you paying for your restaurant's business insurance? What's affordable for your needs? What does your agent do for you that isn't just policy writing? Tony Brown with First Insurance Group has a keen eye for the policies all restaurant owners and operators would love to have. Tony provides risk management and other HR resources free of charge as your agent. Tony has no waiting period for loss of business coverage starting from day 1, minute 1, unlike other carriers' 72-hour waiting period. Tony has no audit for liquor liability and general liability, saving you time so you can focus on running your restaurant. And Tony's insurance carrier is the preferred vendor of choice for the Indiana Restaurant and Lodging Association. Call or text Tony Brown with First Insurance Group today, 812-327-2321. Set up a free review of your current policy and see how Tony can help you protect your largest investment, your business. 812-327-2321. Are you wanting to move better, feel better, and live better? Look no further than Move Bloomington, where their small group personal training programs are designed to improve strength, balance, and flexibility. With a welcoming environment, their expertly guided workouts can help you feel supported in the life and activities you love in and out of the gym. Whether you're new to exercise, a lifelong athlete, or anywhere in between, their dedication to personalized programming will deliver sessions that meet you where you are. Get started today using the code NODISHES to get 50% off their 3-session Kickstart program. Bloom Magazine's second annual restaurant survey is live. Vote now for your favorite places for food and drink in any or all of the 25 categories. And don't miss the new category. Scroll all the way to the end to vote for the best restaurant in Bloomington. Use the QR code or go to magbloom.com/food. That's magbloom.com/FOOD to vote now. So Garrett, the thing Garrett pulled up, it says it's an Iowan tradition.
Whoa.
Because see, I've grown up in
Indiana
since I was 4, and I didn't know about it until, a couple of years ago. And I've yet to try them out together. But what I envision...
No dipping, no smothering, no mixing. Kansas City is taking this very seriously.
Interesting. Okay. Wow. Is for after the chili, or a minimum, eat them in separate bites. That's so... See, what I envisioned when you say chili and cinnamon roll together is you take a piece of the cinnamon roll and you dip. That's what I would think. Smothering seems a little excessive.
Did you ever eat at the cinnamon roll place in Nashville, Indiana?
Ooey gooey, absolutely.
Did you ever have the like volcano situation that they?
Please do.
Okay, so they would scoop out the middle, and they would put in some like scrambled eggs, I think, and something else, and then put some like sausage gravy on top of that.
Interesting.
And that to me was like the most Midwestern. Like if you can just keep putting breakfast foods together, you're golden. And I was very skeptical. And then some friends and I did eat it. I didn't hate it.
Yeah, I mean, it's very similar to a sweet biscuits and gravy.
Yeah.
You know, and I get it because it's sweet and savory together every time I do brunch. 99%. I get one sweet and one savory. You know, I just can't make up my mind. And so literally like before the Colts game 2 days ago, we go to this place, Spoken Steel next to St. Elmo's. And I couldn't make up my mind. So they had a biscuits and charcuterie gravy, which was phenomenal. And they used different type of charcuterie type meats in the gravy.
Were they like crispy in the gravy?
Yeah, and it just had like a really different flavor, and it was really nice.
Yeah.
But then they had these like berry French toast, so I just did 2 entrees.
Yeah.
But again, it's still like when you're doing brunch, it's still $25 for the 2, so it's like a cheap entree at dinner.
Yeah.
So that's the nice part with breakfast is it is, you know, oh, there we go, Garrett pulled up.
Yes. Oh God, it's a lot of egg when you look at this.
Yeah, I don't know how I feel about that. That's yeah.
Yeah, that's a lot of egg in the.
Garrett found that on Yelp for the ooey gooey cinnamon rolls. If you want to go find the
volcano.
But
look at that cinnamon roll.
Yeah, but they were
even doing the Lord's work. I'm so sad they're gone.
Yeah, I didn't realize they closed.
They did. Yeah, I think they sold it. Maybe I'm not sure, but I know it's not open anymore.
Yeah, that stinks. Yeah, they were solid. I had quite a few. I never went to the shop itself. I had it at different places, or someone brought some back when I was working at our Brown County store for chocolate mousse. But I just never went into the actual brick and mortar. Okay, so 2 sticks will be there. So it's Thursday,
January 23rd. It's the very like kickoff event to get Freezefest rolling through the weekend. So we're going to be sharing chili from 5 to 7 at the mill, right in the center of the ice rink and our ice sculptures, right in the middle of all the action from 5 to 7.
Yeah, so Freezefest is Thursday, Friday, Saturday. They bring in world-class ice sculptors, and a lot of them have background in culinary. A lot of them went to culinary school, and that's how they learned to do this like ice sculpting, and then they went in to do that like full-time, which I thought was really fascinating. And then so they do the kickoff, is the chili cook-off. I put it on for years. Megan and the Hub took over last year, did a fantastic job, sold out.
Thanks.
It was 24 chefs, but it was a little tight, so we're dialing it back to 20 this year.
It was 24 chefs, and some folks had COVID, so they couldn't come. So we ended up having 20 on site,
and it was the perfect.
And we were like, that feels
right.
Like people can kind of move.
And it was still a little tight, but it's like, it's a good thing. It's raising money for a great cause.
Yeah, we were very much like, okay, this came to us pretty quickly. We're going to put it together. We're going to see how it goes. And this is just a learning year. Yeah. We're just going to learn through it. And 200 people came.
Yeah, that's nuts.
I really underestimated how much folks would turn out for chili. It draws a really good crowd and a very diverse collection of chilies. One of them that really stood out to me was very inspired by kind of indigenous North American ingredients and cuisine, and had like wild rice and blueberries in it. And everybody was like, what are you talking about? So there are all of these moments of like learning people's approaches to the food as well.
See, that was one thing from the judging standpoint you didn't get. Because
you're
in the
you
dark.
Get them really out of
Intentionally,
context.
you're in the dark.
Yeah.
Because, I knew almost half of the chefs anyway. So, you didn't want to have bias, which is good.
Yeah.
You want that when you're judging. One of my buddies ended up winning, Mike Warden, who was with Malibu and Half Bottle. I'm not sure who he's with now, but made this really good New England style chili. And then Martin Bentley, who's active in like the Bloomington foodies, he's a big home chef. He made a really, really good one. And then like Ivy Tech culinary students have done well historically. And then Jordan, our title sponsor, Visit Bloomington, Plan Your Escape. Visit Bloomington.com. Jordan Smith, who's their director of leisure and marketing, he won the Some Like It Hot.
Like not even close. It wasn't even a close competition.
Yeah. And dude, it was
wild.
I was with some friend at some 4th Street place, and I'm walking over my car and I see him, a month or two after he moved to town, sitting on the patio of Burma Garden before it was now Kimu. And he's like, I should not have gotten it this spicy. So now that I know he won that, I'm like, how spicy did he get that?
I mean, yeah. And I think I also, I am not good at, I'm a very cautious person. I'm a pretty risk averse person. So I don't think I went as hard as maybe I should have. Liz does not feel that way. And so I think this year will be, maybe Jordan should go for it again, because I think it'll be a real step up.
He's already talked about it. He's going to.
Great. We'll see if he can hold on, because I think it will be spicy.
Yeah, I'm not one of those people. Give me a good flavor. I don't need I sweat enough as it is being a big person, big boned, that I don't want to sweat extra just because my food's spicy.
Yeah, my spouse loves it. I think it's his favorite thing.
It's just like spice?
Yeah.
I mean, I have a lot of friends like that. More power to them. And I like spice. Like, I do hot sauce on eggs. I love hot sauce on eggs.
Yeah.
And I want, like, if it imparts flavor, all about it. But if I'm just going to numb up my lips and sweat, I'm just like, I'm miserable right now. And I'm eating. This is the time I should be the happiest.
Yeah, I think we grow a lot of hot peppers at home. And so what happens over the course of the growing season is the jalapenos tend to come on really early, and then the habaneros come on, later and go a lot later.
That's
for
perfect.
us.
You can build up
and
your
so you're kind of, he's spending the summer building this tolerance that then he maintains through, these like hot sauces that are legitimately the final wing on hot ones. Some seasons.
Or Da Bomb.
Fortunately, that has not come into our home. I have some friends, and we'll occasionally do like a hot ones night, and
nice.
Da Bomb has featured in those. And that will not come in my home.
Tell us about those nights. I want to hear about these.
We learned that we all just really enjoy hot ones. I think Sean Evans is a great interviewer.
Oh, he's incredible. He's
like
so good.
The background work that they do is just so admirable to me. And so they're just enjoyable to watch. And my friend Angela and I, we just really enjoy food together. We did grad school together. And our partners are very into hot sauce. And so we were like, this is perfect. We'll make a ton of wings in the air fryer, and we're just going to see how far we can go. And I do not love spicy. Like I'm, like a 3 or 4 on that scale. But you can, if you start going, I mean, you just keep doing it and somehow you make it to the end.
You can power through.
And I don't know that I enjoy it, but I've done it.
That's great.
But Joe, my spouse, is like, no, 10 is good.
Yeah, like I'm happy.
And he'll just dab it into soup or whatever. And I'm like, I made it. Can I just get a courtesy bite first?
Yeah, before you just light it up.
I just need you to take one bite and be like, wow, you did a really good job.
So good.
And then dump whatever you want in there. But I take it really personally.
I don't think that's too much to ask.
I don't think so either. He's gotten better at it.
That's good.
I usually get a courtesy bite, and he'll, validate me.
Yeah, and be like, that was fantastic. Thanks, honey.
So,
and while he's saying it and making eye contact, just dumping it in.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
Yeah.
I need to start hosting hot ones nights. That sounds like a blast.
It's really fun. Yeah. And then it's usually like you have to have ice cream or something to kind of, cool back down. And I'm realizing we don't really add in any sort of vegetable. It really is just an evening of
that's fine.
Chicken wings all the way through until we eat ice cream.
That's
so,
perfect.
Yeah, it's great.
That sounds
I recommend it. You should do it.
I love it. I'm here
Sometimes they will fold in interview questions too. So there'll be like a question to the group with each wing.
Ooh, you do like one of those games where you like draw a card?
So my friend Angela's partner just came up with questions.
Oh, nice.
Like interview questions for the group. And
like
we would, go
what was your
around.
most embarrassing moment or like stuff like that?
Yeah, it was fun.
And then you sweat
so
on top
adding
of
in
sweat.
the questions, yeah.
You guys are doing it right. That's fantastic.
It's a really good time. I recommend.
Well, you teed up the perfect segue. I know you mentioned ice cream, and then we already mentioned chocolate mousse will be there. So we've always, ever since it started, we donate a bunch of ice cream to where you get free ice cream as part of your ticket. And so the people, man, I felt my buddy Dayton, who was our old guy, events delivery guy, he's now moved on to bigger and better things. But he, man, I felt bad for him because I was judging. I couldn't go help. But the line was so long and just trying to just scoop so, but it does go well. You got your cinnamon rolls, you got your ice cream, you got your chill. And again, 40 ounces, if you get 2 ounces from each chef, ice cream, cinnamon roll, $20. And that's 100 pounds of food. So 200 people, is that like 20,000 pounds of food from this one thing? Am I doing that math right?
I'm going to say, yeah. I'm going to trust your math because I can't do math in my head that fast. I trust
100 times 20, I think.
Yeah.
Garrett's doing it. I think it's 10 tons of food, which is wild from 1 2-hour fundraiser.
Yeah. I mean, let me think in terms of, okay. So two tons of food, and for us that is 400. Okay,
I don't know what numbers Garrett's doing. It's $20. Okay. $20 a ticket times 200 people.
Yeah, so that's
just 2 tons of food. That's great. I don't know what I was doing.
That's the number of that's revenue, right? And then
that's right. That's right. $20 gets you 100 pounds of food. So then multiply that by 100.
Yeah, so 20 times 100 times.
So you're getting
Look at us learning together.
40,000.
20,000. Look, we got there.
Is that so I was right the first time.
Yeah, wow.
Oh, look at me. Savant. What up?
Yeah, so let me think about,
even though I was not confident in it at all.
Okay, so here's some more math. We across all of our contributions and stuff will get about 1 million pounds of food.
Wow.
In a year. So that's, a not insignificant part of the amount of food that we will move.
Yeah. Well, again, it's a 1 2-hour event you're putting on. Now, granted, there's a lot of work that goes into it. But just from that, and you're getting 10 tons of food, 20,000 pounds of food.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So anyway, how can people buy tickets? Are they available yet?
So they will be available at the door. So if you don't want to do any work, we do have them also linked on our webpage for the event.
Okay.
So if you go to mhcfoodpantry.org, there will be a link in the carousel on the webpage to get to the chili cook-off page. Or you can find also links directly to our Square store. Look at all our merch.
I was going to say, let's hold off on the chili cook-off.
Yes, you can buy chili cook-off tickets from our store. And then when you're in the store,
buy some merch while you're at it.
Yeah.
Yeah, you guys have so much Mother Hubbard's.
Yeah, so Alexander Landerman did a series for us that we turned into t-shirts, tote bags, and handkerchiefs. We have the handkerchiefs in black and white, and the white ones I highly recommend because you can tie-dye them. They take dye really well.
Ooh, okay.
So you can totally customize it. It's been very fun.
Arts and crafts, let's go.
And then
a persimmon pudding postcard.
Yeah, Lily Bird did all of these illustrations for the cookbook we put out this year. And she's, recently out of school, a young local artist that just did these incredible watercolor style illustrations that we've been pulling out of the cookbook to just celebrate and have their beautiful art. And so how do we, have them available in as many ways as possible? So we've got prints, we've got postcards, and you can just have these really cozy images from Lily Bird in your home.
Yeah, these are fantastic.
Send them to a friend. They're so pretty.
I never would have thought you guys had a badass merch selection. That's so cool.
Yeah, the Bloomington community is just so incredible. And then, so we have stuff on our store, and then Gather has been an incredible partner as well.
Shout out
so if you go into Gather, we have a whole merch section in there, and our goods are stocked in there. And I think the thing that's been most affirming to me in being at the Hub is there's so much investment in our community and really supporting people and in really wanting the best for people and wanting that to look really beautiful. And so, we have these opportunities to pull people in, and we get a lot of talent and we get a lot of support. And it's just nice to see all of those connections happen through town. And so that's what I feel when I look at our little shop is just
everyone's kind of
a lot of brilliant
in.
folks.
Yeah.
Just really excited to think about food and share food.
Stephen King's Misery is coming to Bloomington this winter. Don't miss Constellation Stage and Screen's production of the classic thriller On Stage, January 30th through February 16th at the Waldron Arts Center. Paul Sheldon used to write for a living. Now he's writing to stay alive. This spine-tingling Stephen King classic, adapted for the stage by two-time Academy Award winner William Goldman, will grip you until the very end. See Misery on Stage January 30th through February 16th in downtown Bloomington. Find tickets at cconstellation.org. The No Dishes podcast is brought to you by visitbloomington.com. VisitBloomington.com is the best resource for restaurant and culinary information, special events, fun activities, places to stay, and more in our area. We share a similar mission here on the No Dishes podcast of highlighting local businesses and the people who make our community unique. We can't thank them enough for hopping on board. Check them out at visitbloomington.com to easily plan your next meal, visit, or night out on the town. I love that. How big's your team?
We have 7 of us, including me.
7 full-timers under mother, yeah.
It's 5 full-time and 2 part-time, half-time folks.
Yeah.
And that includes, a lot of us are wearing kind of multiple hats. So we're all kind of tag teaming, supporting education. We have a full-time youth coordinator. Georgia's our longest standing employee. She's been with us for over 10 years.
Wow.
And has a background in youth programming and just brings so much. She's so good at her job. She brings so much fun and integrity to her work with the kids, and you just see them come back for years. There are so many people that she's worked with now who started coming to Kids Cook, which is our weekly drop-in session for kids on Wednesdays. They started coming with their parents when they were 4, and now they're in high school or graduating high school and are talking to her about what they want to get up to next, and they're sharing the recipes that they go home and make with their families, and just seeing the really lasting relationships that she's built through what could just be a drop-in class. You're coming and going, and the way that people choose to come back and choose to build those relationships is great.
So rewarding.
Yeah.
So you have the pantry 3 days a week. You got the kids cooking class. I'm sure there's even more to the kids' curriculum that she does.
For
and then
sure.
the gardening. I know you mentioned some more at the beginning of the episode, but yeah, what are the other resources that you guys are providing?
So one of the really fun things is we have a lot of programming that even if you're in a moment where you're not using or you don't need our pantry, there are a lot of ways to join in. And so on our website, you can find all of the classes that we have for the month, and the classes are open for anybody to register for. And we update them sort of monthly. And so in December, we tend to do a lot of cozy end-of-year things. So December 2024 for us is soup and a variety of cookies. And we've got another one. One of our interns has been having recurring workshops where we learn to make laundry detergent together, and people are leaving with their own homemade mason jars of laundry detergent.
Wow.
And so those have been some registered and drop-in sessions. There's one on the 17th. Can you click the +2 on the, Cooking Matters. So we have a partnership with Indie Hunger Network. They have a program called Cooking Matters, and we have our interns go through their training, and then they have the opportunity to lead these workshops on recipes that Cooking Matters has put together. And they teach people how to make them. They lead conversation about them. And then all of the participants leave with a bag of groceries to recreate that recipe at home. So that's a really nice one because a lot of the recipes are very meat focused, and we don't always have space to have meat in the pantry. And so we're like, okay, at least in this workshop, we know that people are leaving with a really balanced grocery bag and get to go home. And, they've learned this recipe. Now they can teach it to the other people in their household. So those are a really fun one. And it's really fun to see our interns to go from not having facilitated educational spaces before to really progressing and getting comfortable with small talk and getting to know some of the folks who use the pantry. So it feels like they're in a room of people that they know. And start to just really thrive in that space too. And indoor composting, right. So we try to have a couple of workshops each month that pull people into the kitchen. And the classes in the kitchen try to feature things in the pantry so that they can take some of the ingredients home, or feature tools that are in the tool share. So we're learning how to dehydrate food together, and then you can check out a dehydrator to use at home for free. Or we're making fresh pasta, and you can check out a pasta maker to use for free. There are bread machines, right? So if we teach you to do something, we want you to be able to replicate it at home with as few barriers as possible. So trying to have those ways of tying all the programming together so that if you're here because you want to learn how to use the kitchen, great, but it can also make the pantry a less scary and intimidating space for you so that when you do need it, it's easier to jump in. And then we also, in addition to the kitchen classes, try to do a garden-focused workshop each month as well and kind of move through the growing season in that way. So while it's winter, we're going to focus on, okay, what are the scraps and how do we turn them into soil and how do we get our tools ready for another growing season and make sure they're sharp and ready to prune our trees come February.
That's all of that's amazing, but it's so cool that you're supplying possibly, or, the equipment too, not just the food, but like, hey, here's equipment, like here's this dehydrator, go use it, bring it back. Like, I feel like that's not a thing a lot of places offer. Is that fairly unique to you guys?
We're fortunate. Our library is incredible. So we're fortunate to be in a community where the library also has sort of a tool lending space. And we try to stay in loose conversation so we're complementing each other. And if you can't find things that you need from us, do check in with Monroe County Public Library and see if they might have it. So we have multiple tool shares, but a lot of communities, have none tool share.
Wow.
And it is, an upfront investment of building out these tools. But now that people know it's there, when they're moving or downsizing or they're in a place where they can upgrade their equipment, then a lot of folks will donate their equipment to us too. So we're able to have much bigger variety than we could do on the $1,000 budget that we set for that program in a year. The community really makes it thrive and allows us to keep it really cost effective for our overall budget.
That's great. If you're moving, downsizing, upgrading, here you go.
Yeah, you decide that this is the year where you get a Vitamix and you don't need your blender anymore. Bring it on over. Yeah, you set all of your nutrition goals for 2025 and you revamp your kitchen and then we'll take what you're ready to move on from. Yeah.
Yeah, I was going to be like, come on down, talk to Megan. Let me know what you got. Do you guys also do garden tools too?
We do. Yeah.
I saw one of the pictures that Garrett had up early on when he first brought up. I was like, that looks like it's like a garden tool rental space.
Yeah. So the room is really, if you look to your left, it looks like you're in like a kitchen warehouse. And if you look to your right, it looks like you're in your grandpa's garden shed and he's never thrown a shovel away, but has continued to buy shovels. So there are a lot of shovels and hand tools, pruning supplies, and also a couple of things that, are really things you only need once a year, and it doesn't make sense for all of us to have them. You're not going to need a tiller all the time.
Right.
So we'll have a tiller or two. You get ready for the season, and we'll just kind of pass it around.
So do you encourage pretty much any member of the community to come take advantage of that?
I do, yeah. I mean, I think especially as we move into a time where everything is getting more expensive, where we're all likely going to be staying in homes or apartments that are smaller than maybe we imagined.
Right.
It's a great way to be resource conscious, to be space conscious. And also give yourself permission to play and try new things without any real commitment. So maybe you rent, a large pot and you try out some water bath canning and you learn you love it. And then you want to dive in and you want to have those resources at home all the time. And maybe you try it and you learn that you never want to do that again.
And you just saved yourself some money.
Yeah. So I think, yes, always try it out. Or, there's an issue in the yard or your blender just broke, but you've really got to get this recipe made for the work potluck tomorrow. Let us be the stopgap for you, or let us help you accomplish, just that one-time project and save your resources for other stuff.
That's so cool. That's awesome. Do you guys rely a lot on volunteers?
We do. Yeah. Not both, across all of our programs. So the pantry is possible because of volunteer labor. We have at least 12 volunteers each Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. Their shifts 10 to noon, and that's sort of a truck is coming or inventory is being pulled out of the warehouse. we're getting ready to open. So it's, prep for opening a grocery store. And then 12 to 2, 2 to 4, and 4 to 6 are the different shifts we have where you're interacting with patrons. Maybe you're tabling and trying out some recipe samples with them. Maybe you're working the desk and welcoming them to the space. Maybe you're stocking. And those folks, we literally could not be open without them. I can't afford to pay people for all the labor that we need. And so we're really thankful for them. And then the garden is a space where we have a lot of volunteers that we depend on as well. Some of those are folks who drop into the weekly garden work days that we have on Thursdays. And some are folks who, they're there because they want to harvest some kale, but then they see weeding that needs done. And so they just hang out for a while and do it. So that's a nice space where some of those opportunities are structured and some of them are just
as they come up.
People know it's a space for them and they're just getting some of the work done. And we also encourage folks, if there's a recipe that's been in your family for a long time or there's a kitchen skill that you think the community could benefit from, then let's have a conversation about it and see if we pull that into the kitchen classroom and find a way to share it.
Sweet. So for just about any of this, go to the website.
Yeah, absolutely.
To reach out for be like, hey, I've got this or I have a question about this. It's all at the website.
Yes, it's always on our website. And, we're there to be a community resource. So if you're not a person who wants to dig around on a website or can really feel like they get oriented or feel comfortable after looking at or reading something, then just stop by. Yep. We're open to anyone Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, noon to 6. So come in, let us know what your questions are. We can walk around together. We can get you oriented. We can have a conversation about what's possible and where you could plug in.
That's great. You will just give your cell. I'm just kidding. So anyway, just clean up 812.
You've emailed with me, so you know that they could text, but it might take a while. So that's fine.
Well, awesome. Well, thanks so much for sharing. I've heard the name Mother Hubbard's Cupboard forever, and I just never really, even until now, realized the extent of what you guys do.
Well, I'm glad,
I knew, just very minimal, the work, but just the detail and everything is so fascinating. So it's really cool that you guys are there. It's so necessary for the community. Before I dive into maybe places you like to go out to eat and stuff, I want to touch a little bit more on Freezefest, and then we'll shift over to that. So for those that don't know, Freezefest, it's 4th year, I believe, because it started 2019, took pandemic off. Anyway, really cool event because Visit Bloomington, the Mill, we're like, hey, there's not, it's just January's just dead. There's nothing going on. And Richmond has had this ice festival. It's the Richmond Meltdown that's been going on for years. It's super successful. So they're like, hey, let's bring this to Bloomington. And through, Pat East and his wife and the Mill and IU Ventures and Cook, a lot of people put in money to make this happen. And it's just a free community event that's really cool. It's January 23rd through January 25th at the Mill. There's also Friday night, the Ice Battle, which is really cool. I got to kind of co-MC last year. I would do that again this year. And it's on the stage in the Upland parking lot. So it's all right there. Upland, Mill. They have all these really cool ice sculptures. Last year they had one of Sydney Parrish. And I think it was Malik Renault, one of the IU men's players as well. And they brought in last year for the first time, they're doing it again this year, an ice skating rink, which is so cool because in my 15 years in Bloomington, there's never been an ice skating rink other than Frank Southern.
Yeah.
Like an outdoor one. So that's really exciting. So you've got all these different things. You have Thursday, you have the chili cook-off. Friday, you have the ice battle. Then Saturday's the family fun day. All these different things you can do. These sculptures, some are interactive. Some of them are ping pong, checkers. And then that's followed up down at Switcher Park with Winterpalooza with Parks and Rec. So really cool week, January 23rd through January 25th. Freezefest.com, visit Bloomington, find out everything you need to know there.
Are they doing the luge again this year? The little slide?
I hope so.
Okay. I didn't get to do it last year. So my Freezefest wish for 2025 is I get to go down the ice luge. Right? That's what it's called. The little...
Yeah. Okay. I just called the slide.
The slide. Yeah. I want to do the ice slide.
So there it is.
That's my goal.
Yeah. Garrett pulled up a picture of someone that's probably more appropriate for it. A young girl, whereas me on it did not look right. But yeah, so when I first got involved, the whole reason I was on the first committee was just, hey, book some food trucks. And obviously different things have grown to where now I'm maybe emceeing the chili cook-off or emceeing the ice battle and doing more things. But I still booked the food trucks. That was the whole reason I was there in the first place.
Yeah, what's the lineup this year?
I don't know yet. I know. We're going to get it. We're going to get it. We'll announce it. I know. This episode's coming out
Intrigue.
December
Yeah,
31st. We're recording it November 26th. So I still got time before you judge me.
We would never.
Better business, better community. For over a century, the Greater Bloomington Chamber of Commerce has been a cornerstone of business growth and community development. They are dedicated to helping local businesses thrive. Their business is all about your business. Join the Chamber today. Call 812-336-6381 or visit chamberbloomington.org to learn more. The Bloomington Town Planner is a community calendar owned and published by local residents John and Sharon Martin. Mailed out to Bloomington homes in December of each year, it features school schedules and community events. And don't forget the coupons at the bottom of the calendar. They'll save you money and help you decide on the next restaurant or retailer to check out here in the Bloomington area. Town Planner also has an online calendar which can be found at townplanner.com. Make sure to sign up for their weekly e-newsletter so you can stay on top of all the fun events going on around town. But the whole reason I bring that up is Hamid with Doner Kebab, also our most watched episode of this podcast ever, because everyone loves Hamid. He's the man. Yeah. Him and I went down together, and I filmed it, and it was hilarious because you hit the end. And then you're like, oh, and then he plows into me. And I'm just like, oh God. But we're both just dying laughing. And it was just the most fun.
That's great.
It was just on a whim. I'm like, Hamid, you want to go down the side? He's like, brother, let's go. I'm like, all right, hell yeah, man. So now I'm excited for you to share in that joy.
Yeah, I can't wait. I will probably ask my daughter to go with me, and she will probably reject me. I want to do it on her own, and so I'll do it myself, and that's fine.
Or if like Peely's is there, be like, Peely, come on.
yeah.
Let's go. Let's have fun.
We got to get all the food trucks included. Yeah.
Yeah, it'll be good. We'll have some good food trucks for sure. But thank you for reminding me. I need to get those.
I didn't mean to call you out. I was just excited.
No, I know. No, you're totally fine. I've been slacking, so we're going to make it happen. So yeah, like I said, this episode's coming out on New Year's, our last episode of season 7. Do you have a New Year's resolution for Mother Hubbard's Cupboard?
So we tried really hard. The goal we set for ourselves this year was to have the motto 2024, what a bore. And we were like, we're not choosing hard things this year. We're settling in, we're staying focused. And I think at any nonprofit, having a boring year is pretty much impossible. And so we're letting that go. And 2025 is our year to dream really big.
I love it.
We've been here for 26 years. The demand is not going down. There's space and there's interest and there are skills to grow all of the programming that we do. And so what happens if we really, open that box and let people just take the time to be like, okay, this is what we're doing, but this is what it would feel like or look like to do the most, to do this at like a higher, bigger, or really abundant level. And just start to see what that feels like and see where that takes us, which I'm really excited about.
That's so great. That was such a great answer too for that. I was like, you could have been like, yeah, just to keep doing what we're doing,
I mean, that will be most of it.
Yeah, but still.
But I did make us make a vision board at our staff retreat this year. I love that. So yeah, we're going to be optimistic. We're going to be creative. And we're going to I still just love 2024. What a bore. Yeah, we didn't make that one.
I've never heard someone just shit talk a specific year. Like 2024 was a joke. We've gone through a lot of change. It's been a lot of change. And we're like, let's just steady. A year of just steady. Well, and that's honestly what we did with the chocolate mousse, because we had opened up the store next to Buff Louie's, and then we did one in the mall, and we're like, you know what? Let's just do what we do.
You're over in the mall?
We were for the holiday season last year.
Oh, okay.
So for 2024, though, we're like, hey, let's just do our 2 stores. Let's do our catering and events. Let's do Food Truck Friday, and let's just see what that looks like. Without trying to tackle on. I love that
your list of we're only going to do this was still like 7 things.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
okay.
I like to stay busy. Lastly, we do with all of our guests is just places that you love to eat out or show some love to, or grab a drink after work.
Okay, so I do. I came here as a grad student first, and so the first things I was introduced to were beers at Atlas, which is still. It's like my comfort place for a beer. I love being there, and I've really come to love being at Blockhouse too.
Nice,
I think it's such a nice little hidden away spot that always feels very like safe to me. So I really value Blockhouse as a place to grab a drink with folks.
Those are both great spots.
Yeah. And just feel very Bloomington to me. Like, I think
absolutely.
I also landed here in the era of like peak hipster. And so I never wanted to go anywhere where people were going to talk at me about the kind of hops in my beer. Like, I want to drink it, I want to enjoy it, but I don't.
You don't want educated.
Any men in the bar to talk at me about hops.
Yeah.
And so
you're like the least amount of mansplaining possible.
Yeah. And so those were good. They ended up being really good places for that.
That's great.
And also for whatever reason, we had a lot of grad student socials at the Root Cellar. And someone there was just like loading us down with fries. And so they would bring bowl after bowl of farm fries downstairs. And so one of my comfort foods is farm fries. But now going back to brunch, that is the Hoosier poutine. Like, my brunch is Farm's Hoosier poutine. And I will eat it until it makes me physically ill.
Okay, wow. See, I've never had it. I've had their biscuits. You know, Chef D and Chantel just came on. I've had the biscuits. I've had the farm fries. I've never done their Hoosier poutine.
It's so heavy. Like, if you lift the bowl when they give it to you, it's so heavy. My leftovers are so heavy. But it's their sausage gravy that has multiple kinds of sausage in it, right? And then like so many fries, so much cheese broiled on top, and 2 poached eggs. And then I go home and I take a nap.
Yeah,
for like
you have
hours.
to. There's no one's doing that mid down a work week. Or on a work day.
Yeah. So that's a real delight.
There's a burn-in poutine at Upland I haven't tried, but I really want to try. Just if you're a poutine gal.
Yeah,
I
do.
Scout it out.
I just love fries generally. I think fries are one of my favorite foods. I love them.
Would you say farm fries are your favorite ones in town?
Oh my gosh.
Let's just talk fries. Let's just talk Frenchies.
Okay, my daughter and I were ranking fries the other day.
Perfect. So you're already prepared.
And I think we agree. Yeah, I think about this a lot. I think it's really hard to beat an Upland fry.
Yeah.
I'm like a battered fry person. I think they're perfect. And then I think the opposite end of that is like a farm fry where it's much thinner but still
you have more stuff added.
Yeah.
What about tap fries? Have you had tap fries?
So the tap was a place where really people tried to explain hops to me. And so I love that.
That's like
there.
That's so funny.
I haven't really eaten there, but I've heard really good things about
tap fries. Are really good.
And people seem to really like the sauces that come with them. I don't know is there like a special ketchup or?
No, they just worked. From my understanding, Chris Martin, who's the president of Finney Hospitality Group, came on here, and I've had other friends work there, was that they just spent a lot of time coming up with the seasoning blend of what it was to make, not necessarily the sauce, but like the seasoning on the fries. Yeah, there we go. Garrett pulled up a picture. They look very, very well seasoned. Yeah.
Or they really upped the contrast.
Well, so they just got a 3-way at the tap. So maybe now it might be more approachable to where people aren't mansplaining hops to you.
Yeah,
you know?
I'll try again.
Okay,
it's no shade to the tap. It is shade to men.
No,
but no shade
and the men
to
that were
the
in there. Yeah, that's fine.
Much more a customer issue than a service issue.
Well, they with the 3-way, they're starting in. I'm gonna do the shameless personal plug here. The last 2 Saturdays in January, then hopefully into February and March, I'm going to DJ every Saturday from 9 to midnight. So bring the crew out.
Yeah.
You know, get some tap fries. We'll play some good tunes.
Yeah. You know, there was one night that I went to the tap and it was very different. Obviously, we've discussed that the men were explaining hops and they had someone... There's like a spot up high. Is that where you'll be?
I think so, because that's where they'll have like the trivia person. It's like a stage up there.
Yeah, there was a man up there, and he was a Sublime acoustic cover artist.
Did you love it or hate it?
I thought was incredible. I
feel like you're either going to love that or you're going to hate that.
A commitment to Sublime, and I can't fault that.
I'd be fine with it as long as it sounded okay. Like I'd be about it. I'd vibe out to some Sublime.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like we're that age where, like, at some point, we
as
definitely.
Long as it sounds like, but it is odd that it was only Sublime.
Yeah,
not like he's not covering also like.
It was like a full album.
Yeah. Not just like that era, but no, just doing Sublime.
Yeah.
It's not a cover band, just a solo cover.
He was
acoustic.
a Sublime cover artist.
Hey, good for him. I hope he's doing great.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Any other restaurants or anything that we haven't shown some love to?
So we order a lot of food for lunch. One of our favorite things to do is be like, I have a feeling, so I'm going to order lunch about it. And it works if you're having a great day. It works if you're having a really hard day. It works if you forgot your lunch. It works if you packed your lunch and it sounded good at the time and now you don't want to eat it. So we order lunch a lot. And the two places we order from the most are Rush Hour, who also has solid fries and just a great variety menu. And Hoosier Soulmates.
Hoosier Soulmates, so good.
Also, brilliant things to do with fries. Like,
the
I
bulgogi
love
fries.
Hoosier Soulmates so much. And they're so nice. They give you so much banchan when you order to go. They give you all of the little like appetizers and treats you would get if you ate Korean like on site.
Oh yeah.
And that's it's like a little treasure box when you get to open it. So yeah, they have a really special place in my heart.
I'm glad you mentioned them. So Rush Hour, I haven't been there in forever. Maybe it's probably been at least
Still
like 2
solid.
years. Yeah. Well, Robin, I don't know if she still owns it. But
I think so.
She set up actually I don't know if it still sits out there, the van.
Yeah.
But that used to come over to Food Truck Friday when we did Food Truck Friday at the old stand.
That was how I first had them.
Really? Yeah. Way
I had
back
their
when.
banh mi out of the truck. Yeah.
And that's like the only place I ever saw that truck set up.
Yeah.
But I've never done their fries. But I love Rush Hour's food. I need to get back over there. But Hoosier Soulmate, yes, is good. Everything I've had there, they've got these little like $4 like hot dogs with bulgogi on top, like $4. They're small, but it's still.
That's
a steal.
the beauty of their menu is everything is affordable and you can order so much stuff. So I'm getting a hot dog, I'm getting fries with like furikake on them.
Yeah.
I'm getting the little seaweed snacks that are like deep fried. Like I'm honestly probably also getting some tteokbokki, the spicy rice cakes in the really like red spicy sauce. God, everything they do is so good. And it's like you could just order a little buffet.
And like you said, they're so nice too.
Yeah.
So what did you call, I've always just called them like the accoutrements.
Banchan. So I'm
okay.
pretty sure I'm not pronouncing it correctly at all. But I learned it when I was reading.
Small sided. Okay, there it is. That's right.
Japanese
Banchan.
Breakfast came. What was the book that the woman behind Japanese Crying in H Mart?
Okay.
So she taught me about banchan as like a center, like a cornerstone of Korean meals.
Interesting. I never knew what you called all of that. Thank you. This is like been something that has bothered me for a while.
Yeah, it's
not enough for me to Google until now, but.
Oh man, I wish more cultures had this type of I want so many more snacks.
Yeah, can you imagine if like every
meal.
American restaurant did that?
Yeah.
You just go sit down no matter what you get, like 8 different things come out to sample.
Yeah. So we I also studied French in undergrad. I have a habit of just like I'm like, well, if I'm here, I'm just gonna study 4 things at a time. And so things worked out where we got to move to France for a year and we were teaching in different places. And in France, they have like apéro hour. And so they'll eat dinner later, but they'll invite you over at like maybe 6 and you'll eat at 8. But 6 to 7 or 6 to 8 is apéro. And you've got, like a stiff little drink or a nice bottle of wine. You've got peanuts, you've got chips, you've got all of these little snacks, and you're just
grazing,
gossiping, snacking,
sipping.
Yeah, people are probably outside smoking, and then you get to move into like a 3-course meal.
Oh my
too.
God, that sounds
and
fantastic.
I'm like, I want to eat for like 5 hours. I want to do that every day.
Absolutely, I kind of do already. It's great.
Yeah,
quite like not as structured as that, like that, or nor as classy.
Every way is valid.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I just needed
we're
some
not
acceptance.
in the business of judging.
Good. I knew there was a reason. Well, thank you so much for taking the time to come and explain everything Mother Hubbard's Cupboard does. Again, it's so cool. I mean, what you guys do, you didn't say what your budget is. I'm not expecting you to, but what you do on a small budget is incredible. Like you just said,
oh, thank you.
For $20 to get 100 pounds of food is nuts. And I know obviously it's due to your work, your team's work, but then all your community partners, Hoosier Hills Food Bank, United Way.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's just all this stuff going on in the community that, like, some of my favorite episodes that we've done on here was Forrest with Beacon and Jake with Hoosier Hills and now you, to where it's just like, we just don't even know all these things that are helping out so many members of our community. We know they're there, but we just don't know the extent of it. So thanks for taking the time to come share and buy your tickets for the Chili Cook-Off.
Yeah, and truly, come to Chili Cook-Off and then just come see us sometime. We're there. You might not feel like you need us right now, but we see so many people that come and go. We see so many people that come to Toolshare once and just get really excited to go on a cooking journey. So just come check it out and see what pieces of it could be fun for you and come hang out.
Awesome. Well, thanks so much for taking the time, Megan. I really appreciate it.
Thanks for having me, and thanks for joining us for Chili Cook-Off again.
Yeah, can't wait. Cheers.
Cheers.
There you go. You can't laugh, Carrot. All right, here we go. There you go, little fella. Oh, what another great episode. Thanks so much to Season 7 presenting sponsor, Visit Bloomington. Check them out. Visit Bloomington.com. As always, keep those hands dry. This episode of the No Dishes podcast was recorded, edited, and produced by Garrett Portinga of Green Hat Media in beautiful downtown Bloomington, Indiana.
No Dishes Media.
No Dishes Media.